Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Cookie Monster of ProForgeRacing, bringing you my 97th ForgER review, AYMxFaMaSiitY. AYMxFaMaSiitY is an awesome racetrack forger. I believe he's been making racetracks since 2008 because I was looking on his profile on halotracks.org recently, and it said he joined in May of 2008, which is just 2 months after the website was created, and that's when you think about it, that's more than 4 years ago. So I think he's probably been at least into racing racetracks for a long time now. But anyways, this first map here is called Indoor versus Outdoor, and this is kind of like a tournament style racetrack for the most part. Tournament style racetracks usually consist of maybe a few perfect U-turns that are rounded, but they're usually square turns, completely bordered and uncheatable. But he has that whole section inside that's kind of like that, but then he has this random outdoor section which kind of kills the fact that it's a tournament track. Tournament tracks there was very few of in Halo Reach. They were I think more popular in Halo 3, just like, you know, completely bordered and stuff, uncheatable. They're not very exciting, you know, they're just like square turns and uncheatable, but it would still be nice to see a few more, or it would have been in Halo Reach, now that Halo Reach is at an end though. But this is still a really cool map. I don't particularly prefer the whole outdoor section. It's got a God's Regret style lift at the very end, just like a huge vehicle man cannon that shoots you all the way up. Right there I have an epic wheelie going on. But it's just kind of like he uses the giant either 4x4 or 5x5 pieces, and it goes really far out and then just turns around and comes back. I kind of wish he had just shortened it off and made it just a tournament track, but regardless, it's still a fun map. This next track here is called Nightfall Shadows. This is his first of, I believe, 2 city racetracks, and I really like his city maps, the second one especially. However, this one is fun as well. As you can tell, obviously, from the name, as well as from looking at the map, it's supposed to take place at night. And I actually never saw this map back when city maps were, you know, just coming out and becoming really popular after I made Boulevard, and shortly after Goldman 010 made Golden Metropolis, and then, you know, amazing maps like HFR Downtown Drift and stuff were coming out. I remember seeing his second city map, and I thought that was his first, and I had never really heard of him as a forger before, and it was amazing. But I never played this one, and this one's actually really good, and it's fun. However, it's just too long. Sorry, I was kind of spacing out there for a second. I don't know why. Yeah, it's just a little bit too long. I know a lot of city maps, you know, the city itself is fairly small because you can't do a ton with it, so you obviously have to go over certain sections more than once. However, I feel like he just made this one a little bit too long, because you know, you can make, I don't know, he could have made it a lot shorter, I think. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm totally spacing out here. But yeah, it's still a fun map, and it looks nice, and I like the nighttime feel to it. There's only a few city maps that have that nighttime feel to it. He just went a little overkill, I think, with the lap time, making it like 3 minutes long, literally. Most city maps are between like 1 and 2 minutes, so this one's a little bit overkill. But you'll see that with a lot of city maps if you've never played them before, that the lap times end up being pretty long, because it's kind of weird when you're making the route. It seems like it's going to be really short and that you should then go back and make, you know, this part and that part, but you really don't ever end up needing to do all that. But yeah, this is a cool map. It's kind of got this little tunnel that kind of goes underneath like a different part of the track a little bit, and this is just an awesome map. Hopefully I'll make some city maps in Halo Reach, I mean Halo 4 when it comes out. Granted, we have a racetracks game type because if we don't, these maps will be like, you know, incredibly cheatable because you know, it's a flat city map. But I think the lap is coming to an end somewhere soon, hopefully. It's very, very long. It's still a really, really cool map, though. I just wish he had made this lap time a little bit shorter, like I said. But anyways, there were a few other nighttime city tracks, I think. I only made 2 city maps, which I was pretty disappointed about because I kind of made the first city track and started the whole thing with Boulevard, and then I made Avenue, which was incredible, and then I just kind of stopped and I never bothered making another one. I don't know why. I really should have. This next map here is called AYM City, and well, it's called AYM City B. I think he just made changes and called this one B. But this is just an incredible city map. This is the second one he made. This was the one I was talking about. I remember seeing this one and thinking that it was incredible. You know, it just looked really realistic. This was one of the first ones to use the these pieces on the ground as the floor. I believe HFR Downtown Drift was the very first to do that, to use the stunt ramps, because they kind of make it look like it's a road, sort of, with the like the lines and stuff, because it forms like that middle line. So that's really cool. But I like this map a lot. I don't think the lap is quite as overkill as the other one is. It's still pretty long, but that's a city map for you. It usually has a long lap time. And this map was, like most city maps, really good for crashes, because when people fell behind, you know, city maps, there's usually what you'll see is spirals. You know, you go around one area and come back and stuff. And so, you know, when people are, you know, all over the place on their lap, you know, someone's on their 10th checkpoint, someone's on their 1st, and you know, it's just like it gets crazy with people going in both directions all over the place. So this one's a whole lot of fun. I really like this one. I believe I used this map in the one of my Dirty Racing League tournaments. I can't remember. I definitely want to bring the Dirty Racing League back once Halo 4 comes out, because that was a whole lot of fun. I only ever got to host like 2 tournaments, unfortunately, but I think we may have used this one. I know we used some city maps. I'm pretty sure we definitely used HFR Downtown Drift and maybe Boulevard as well. But you know, city maps were great for it because, you know, as I said, they were great for wrecking, and there was a lot of stuff you could push people into. So that was another reason why it was a good track for those. Before collision courses were a thing, I always used to make my maps and try to have them induce crashing, like my city maps, and RLD did that with his Cavernous Deep and stuff. But anyways, this next map here is a pretty long terrain track. This one is called Crossroads, and it's a good map. I think he kind of makes his maps very long, similar to the person I reviewed last, Porter0012. Just kind of makes his maps very long, and I mean, that's alright. It's just it's harder for the review because I normally want to fit 5 to 7 maps, but when each map has a lap time of 2 to 3 minutes, you know, the commentary ends up being 15 to 17 minutes long or whatever. And that gets a little bit difficult to do, especially because you know, this is like this. By accidentally I was deleting stuff on my computer for space, and I went back and I ended up deleting a few audios I hadn't saved, including like 4 or so ForgER review commentaries that I hadn't saved yet, including this one, so I had to redo those. And you know, this one was 17 minutes long, the other ones were 10, 12, and like 15 minutes long, so kind of stinks. But anyways, this is still a fun map. As you can see, it's a terrain track. There are not a ton of terrain tracks, or there weren't in Halo Reach. I feel like in Halo Reach it was pretty much Supercross, double wides, roller coasters. There weren't a ton of city tracks. There were not a ton of terrain tracks. There were not a ton of tournament style tracks. There weren't a ton of motocross tracks. There were some, you know, just aesthetic tracks, but not like a ton of aesthetic scenery tracks. There were not a ton of demo tracks. There were plenty of battle tracks because all the double wides and stuff, but I feel like a lot of the categories just kind of got abused and abandoned in Halo Reach. But I guess that's alright. Maybe Halo 4 will be a bit different. But anyways, again, this is just a long map. Right there's a bridge. It kind of connects the two. As you can see, we started in Hemorrhage, and then we worked our way to the cave, and then I don't even remember how we got up on these islands, but ended up crossing from one over to the next. So this map is just ginormous. It really is. It covers a whole lot of Forge World, and it's not like one of those, you know, epic super long racetrack 101, you know, that got 100,000 downloads and it was a piece of shit that lasted for 5 minutes going over every part of Forge World. It practically does go over, you know, the entirety of Forge World, but it's actually a good map. It's a fun terrain track with a few small sky parts, but I would definitely categorize this one as a terrain track, seeing as how like 98% of it is terrain. Even though there's a decent amount of sky, but there's so much terrain. Anyways, this next map here is called AYM Castle, and this map actually reminds me a lot of my map, Comeback, which is funny because he made this map before I made Comeback. I had never ever seen this map until I was doing his review recently, and it's in a similar area as Comeback. It's a similar idea in the sense that there's just like aesthetically pleasing buildings and stuff around. And there's like aesthetically pleasing buildings and you just kind of like circle around them, similar to Comeback. It's in the exact same spot. It's got Comeback at like the start with how there was like wall coliseums bordering off the starting area. I put like little pieces to make it look like the walls of a castle, and this one's called AYM Castle, and even has like, you know, like a barred gate at the very start. So it's like very similar, and my idea was like a, you know, rundown. I wanted to make like an ancient village, like Fable or Oblivion, like those types of games, like the villages you see. I sort of tried to create buildings that looked somewhat like that, and you know, I think I made a fence at one point, and it looks exactly like his fences back there. And I also have a section where you go and circle, you know, like a rock that's in this little, you know, cave area, and I blocked it off at like the exact same point. It's just crazy how similar this map really is to Comeback. If you've seen my map Comeback or want to watch my video for it, actually my video is probably privated because of the copyright, but you know, it's just hilarious how similar these maps ended up turning out. But I swear I didn't copy them. I didn't even know this map existed. I really didn't. But right there, someone's running on foot shooting. I don't like when people are doing that in a race. But anyways, it's a really fun map though. I was just amazed when I saw this map because I also made a huge building out of stunt ramps like that one back there, except mine was like opened up and it was like falling apart like one of the walls was. But this is a really fun map. I like it a lot. It's just funny how similar I ended up making my map to his. I feel like I copied him, but I swear I never saw the map. This one is, I know I said for the first map, indoor versus outdoor, I wish it was mostly just a tournament track as opposed to having that kind of out of place outdoor section. And this one is called AYM Complex, and this is a really cool tournament racetrack. I haven't played this one in like 2 years, but I'm pretty sure I remember it now that I'm playing it. I think I may have played it like when he released it like a long time ago, but it's a really fun map. It's a tournament track, as you can see, you know, mostly like, you know, squared off turns, completely bordered, uncheatable. There is a small bank turn, but it's like a perfect U-turn, which is how tournament tracks usually were. This one's like a U-turn and then a little bit more, because not only does it make a U, it makes more of a horseshoe, so it's kind of a horseshoe turn, which is really cool because I've never really seen something like that. It's a very unique map. It's a lot of fun. I definitely think I remember playing this one back in the day. It does have an elevator, which is pretty cool. Definitely switches things up a little bit from just your average tournament racetrack. And I love this part here. It's, you know, it has that grid cover, and then it's got that like drift turn thing over a previous part of the track. It's just very good. You can tell that he's, you know, a really good racetrack forger. The 5 maps that I'm reviewing are unfortunately the only 5 maps that I think he ever made in Halo Reach, which is too bad because he's a great forger and I would have liked to see a lot more from him, but I guess that's all he's gonna give us. I guess that's okay. This map here is called Island Crossroads, and If you remember, the very long terrain racetrack, was called Crossroads as well. So I guess when he makes his terrain type racetracks, he calls them Crossroads. But anyways, this map is a lot of fun, and this one has a lot more sky than the other one did, so I guess this one's more of like a hybrid, but it's not just your average, extremely smooth double-wide banking into, a small terrain section. It's a little bit different and unique. I really love this part here with this like glass cover. It looks really nice from an overview. I love that little like kind of S-turn and the big nice hill going down. So, it looks a little bit different than the average hybrid racetrack does, which is good. I'm pretty sure Boyd the Milkman started making like some of the very first hybrids, and he became really well known for his hybrids. I think he was the best hybrid forger in the game, being one of the first, if not the very first. I think Beachline by him was like the first hybrid racetrack, like hybrid, and it was just a lot of fun. But anyways, as you can tell right here, even though the track's flat, he completely bordered it with like rocks and stuff, kind of making it a little more interesting, and a big drop down. So this one is a lot of fun. Even though he used a lot of sky, the sky is not just perfectly smooth, double wide. It's kind of nice to see, him mixing it up a little bit, but he's not doing it to make, sloppy, sky parts using, 5x5s as bank turns and crap like that. It still looks nice and plays nice and works smoothly. He's just kind of switching up the pieces a little bit to be unique. I think he's a very unique forger, actually, and I like his maps. So please go to AYMxFaMaSiiTy's file share and download all of his maps. They're incredible. Thank you guys very much for watching. Cookie out!